Right, let's turn our attentions to La Liga then, as Real Madrid lost further ground in the title race to Barcelona over the course of the weekend. As ever on a Monday morning, great way to start the week. We are joined by Spanish football expert Semra Hunter. Good morning to you, Semra. We will talk about the action in just a moment. Let's start with transfers. We're understanding that Sporting are hoping that Hector Bellerin might be the man to replace Pedro Porro. What are you hearing?
I would say that hoping is probably the key word right now, because word on the ground over here amongst the Catalan press is that they're still talking, but there's nothing official set in stone as of yet between FC Barcelona and Sporting de Lisboa. But it's true that the Portuguese club do want to reinforce that right-back position, and it could be a great operation for Barcelona to do at this stage. Hector Bellerin, he's only played in 3 out of 18 games so far in La Liga Santander. I think a handful of 171 minutes. In the case of the Copa, he's only played a couple of games and 2 games in the Champions League as well. He hasn't really quite settled into that right-back position in the way that I think the club were really hoping would be the case, especially because Bellerin came from the academy of FC Barcelona. So by bringing him back home, they thought that it could be a natural fit, considering that was a position that they've really needed to reinforce for a very long time now, but it just hasn't quite come out. And actually, Xavi's been using Sergio Roberto, a midfielder, a lot of the time at that position, or even Jules Koundé, who's a central defender, out at right back as well. So he's slipped down the pecking order. It could be a good business deal for Barcelona to do. We know that they need money and they want to have money in the coffers. So we'll see if it comes through in the next day or so. But as of right now, it seems as though there's nothing really solid there.
I wanted to ask you, Semra, about Arnaud Danjuma scoring on his Spurs debut over the weekend after signing on loan from Villarreal. A pretty good start, isn't it? Do you think he'll be a success under Conte?
I hope so. He was a very big success over here in Villarreal with Unai Emery. I'm surprised. I would say that Unai Emery is probably not surprised that Danjuma scored on his debut with Spurs, because he really helped him to flourish here in Spain. He really brought him out of his shell. He saw him in the second division, I think it was it Bournemouth, if I can remember correctly, a couple of seasons ago. And he knew that that was who he wanted to bring into the club. And so he was quite happy whenever he was able to join. And whenever Gerard Moreno, who was the talisman of Villarreal, when he was out injured, he was able to really step up to the plate in his absence. And he really kind of took things to another level. He was able to score a lot more goals. He was able to provide a lot more assists and to play in a different way as well, often starting out on the wing and then coming inside. So I suspect that he'll feel as though he's ready for a challenge in the Premier League. And it seems as though he's already proven as much. And I suspect that it will bode well for him as well as for the club too going forwards.
Do you think there'll be any other significant ins and outs with La Liga clubs over the course of the next day or so?
To be honest, I don't think so. In summary, Carlo Ancelotti has already made it very clear that there are no outgoings and there are no incomings. So Real Madrid are not doing any business, and they don't tend to do business in the January transfer market anyway. Now their focus will be on renewing potential contracts, whether that would be Benzema, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, Nacho, for example. All of them are out of contract this June. They have 7 players are going to be out of contract this June. So that's more of a priority for them. In the case of Barcelona, no one is going to be coming in. Xavi has also said as much. But there is obviously the potential for players to leave, especially considering that it would be good for Barcelona to be making money whenever they possibly can. They've already offloaded Memphis Depay for €4 million in total to Atletico Madrid, got him off the wages as well. So any other big names, big surprises, I don't really see it happening, but you never know. That's the beauty of the transfer market, especially deadline day. A twist can come out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually quite like that as well. Let's talk title race now, Semra. Real, 5 points adrift of Barcelona. It was a goalless draw against Real Sociedad yesterday. What did you make of that performance? And also, do you still make them favourites for the title?
Yeah, I think you have to consider Real Madrid as favourites. I don't think you can rule them out. And I think even Real Sociedad are making a case that we should consider them seriously as well. They're 8 points adrift from Barcelona. Real Madrid are now 5 points adrift from Barcelona. But they've had a sensational season, and Real Sociedad have actually been probably pound for pound playing the best football in Spain, at least, I would say, since the restart of the league after the World Cup. But, of course, Real Madrid, they do have that fighting spirit. They have that Champions DNA. They know how to stay in a fight. But obviously now Barcelona are in a very good position to start pulling away even farther at the top of the table. Having said that, even though it was a goalless draw yesterday, it was a really entertaining game. There were 28 shots in total between the two sides, 10 of which were on target. Very clear chances, very good chances, but the defending as well was top-notch. So it was very difficult for either of them to really break the deadlock. But they both played really, really well. So I would say that you definitely have to keep them in contention. There's no question about that. Real Madrid are always going to go to the very end. They'll never give up. But it certainly makes for a very entertaining title race. Hopefully, instead of a two-horse race, now we have three.
Yes. Semra, been great to have you as our three this morning. We'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. Thanks, Bella.